Today we are going to do some families. Let's do a family. To do a family, you're going to go new. All right. You can always go in here, but forget that. Oop. Family, new. When you go in here, I guess it's going to send you to here, but I'm English Imperial. All right. Let's start with a window. All right. So when you make a family, all right, if you haven't figured it out by now, families are the little, I mean not little, but every single component that is not like a floor, ceiling, or wall, or roof. So it's like anything you could think of. Mechanical equipment, planting, profiles. Profiles are just, we'll get to that. Site elements, windows with trim, curtain wall, etc., etc., etc. Okay. So let's just do a window, do open, and when you get here, you will be presented with this screen. In the project browser, the plans, well, the views are as so, okay? This is pretty typical for every single family. This is just your floor plan. It's called reference plan. It's no level 1 or level 2, so just get used to seeing that. I'm going to do CH to close my hidden views, which are all the tabs. Okay. I personally like to just immediately turn the scale up so everything goes down. And then here we are. Okay. So this is the wall that the family is giving us. You don't want to touch this wall. There's nothing to modify on this wall particularly. However, there is this opening cut that we want to modify and add to and so forth. Okay. So with families, you can make a family, load it into a project, and then make duplicates of that family within the project, and then just resize it because you have multiple windows. You don't want to do this 100 times. So you can add dimensional parameters to all your families that stretch and shrink all of your families, like smaller doors, larger doors. If you have, let's say, a window with a vertical mullion straight in the center, and let's say once you get a window that's longer than 6 feet for whatever reason, you can even have a family that knows to add another mullion in the window after passes 6 feet, and then recenters both mullions across whatever that new dimension is past 6. So it's just it's great to have. It's great to know. The more adept you are at creating families, the easier your life will be in Revit. Okay, so how I like to begin is right here on our exterior or interior. I really don't have a preference. Maybe I should. But also get familiar with the reference planes that are placed by default, right? So this is center, front, back, and then also note where the text is relative to the dashed line, relative to the reference plane, right? If the text is above it, that means when we create an extrusion from this face, the extrusion will grow south of this view. If the text was below this line, that means the extrusion will go up. I just found this out 2 weeks ago after, I don't know, 10, 11 years of working on Revit. So that was pretty insane. All right. So this is your center. What's this guy here? Your left, right, and then another center that's left, right. Okay. Excuse me. All right. We're going to go to create and create an extrusion. All right. We can make sure that our work plane is set to the correct thing, and it is. We can start right there at center, front to back. Okay. I'll take this rectangle tool, and I will select a point right there, but I want you guys, well, so here we are. We're just going to draw this first, okay? We need to lock these, but don't lock them right away, because right now these lines are being set to the opening of the wall. All right, we want them set to the reference planes. All right, we could have done it so that, okay, you know, I get too technical. All right, so here we go. Let's align these, lock, align to that, lock, align to this, lock. All right, so all these should be locked, and we're good to go. Okay. Now we can do a OF for offset. That's my thing. If you, I don't think it. By my thing, I mean it's like my shortcut for offsetting things. It might be a default. I can't remember. So let's do. It doesn't matter what I do really for this offset because I'm going to add a parameter right away. So when we're hovering over something, right now I could be trying to set my first initial dimension to the line I just drew. I could be setting the dimension to this reference plane, or I could be setting it to the opening of this wall that's already created by default, right? How do I know for sure what I'm selecting? And that's right over wherever it is here on the bottom left. Okay, so if you look at the bottom left, you see that information starts to change. If I hit tab, okay, now I can start tabbing through the elements to know what I'm going off of. All right, because my original line was aligned to the reference plane, I don't want this aligned to the reference plane as well because it's going to create too many. It's just going to put too much stress on your dimensional parameters. So what we're going to do is just take it straight from the line that we drew to this guy. Okay, same thing all around. And to make our lives easier and to make sure that we are dimensioning from the sketch line and not the reference plane or not the opening cut, we can take all these elements, hit HI to isolate them, just to make sure that we make no mistakes of selecting the proper start of our dimensions. So I'm going to go from here to here, 2 inches, and then from here to here, 2 inches. All right. If you noticed, I started all my dimensions from the outer perimeter of this window frame. I did that because if we're going to change this dimension by using a parameter, by starting the dimension from this side, if this grows, this will grow this way, okay, and not the other way around. So that's why we do that. Now we can select all these dimensions. We can go up here where it says label. These are default dimensional parameters that are already in place, okay, and I'll show you after we're done with this real quick. But I'm going to select these, okay, and then I'm going to create a new one. So this is going to be a family parameter. All right, that's pretty common. You're going to just always do that if you're just creating like typical families like windows, doors, and stuff like that. Share parameters is when you start getting a little more complicated. Honestly, to be honest, yeah, okay. So we have to give it a name. We want this to be mullion or window frame thickness. Just frame thickness. Well, window frame thickness. Okay. Type or instance. What does this mean? Well, as you know, when you go and select a different family type, okay, from your properties bar, all right, let's say you want to change from a 3-foot door to a 3'7" door, 3'6" door, whatever. If you have an instance, you don't have to create a new family because why am I explaining? We can. I'll just show you. All right, we're gonna create it. We're gonna make this as a type, so that we're gonna make this a type. All right. Okay. So in here are your properties. Okay. Properties, parameters, whatever you want to call them. So here is our window frame thickness that we created. We can just test it out real quick before we finish this sketch, just to make sure that it works. And we can test it again after we finish making the model and so forth. So it worked. It went to 3 inches and it grew inward. So let's do 6 inches. And then you see that it grew inward. Okay, we can hit OK there. And there we have our window being extruded really far by a foot. All right, so let's go back to our exterior, hit HR to undo the isolate view that we had. And then let's select this and then fix that depth. So as I was telling you guys, oh, you know what? I got it. Yeah, I got it right. Yeah, that's what I said, right? Yeah, that is what I said, that it will come down. Okay, so as you can see, this is coming 1 foot, being extruded 1 foot away from this reference plane. If, let's say, we wanted to go the other way, you can just add a negative to this, okay, and it'll flip the other way. But you don't want to get into all that negative, positive stuff, because it's just a family and you want to keep this simple for everyone. Because you never know, you might get fired next month and someone else has to work on the project. They need to be able to know how to use these families. So you want to keep everything as simple as possible and as intuitive as possible. So let's change this. Let's go, I don't know, 1.5 inches. Okay. There we have that. Let's make it 2. Let's make it 2. Okay. Now, if you try to stretch these, you can, because it will just change this for now. All right. You can lock it, and that means once you lock it, you just won't be able to stretch it. But you can always come back in here and change it right in here. All right. So let's do 3 inches. All right. Sorry, I'm just thinking. All right, we're gonna continue with the simple way. Again, this is step 1 to families. We can do a more complicated one after this. So now that we have this, let's just add some glass, right? Same thing. Extrusion, create extrusion, do this rectangle from here to here. Because there's nothing else in here besides this object that we created, I know that these are good to be locked. All right. Extrusion end. Let's see. Let's do 0.675 inches divided by 2. Okay. Alright, and then we're going to do negative. So we have, well, like a 5/8 inch glass. Alright. Now, this is a solid panel for now, okay? But if you look at the properties bar over here, you see that you have these 2 options in your identity data categories. You can change this right away to glass, and it will start to act like glass. It will be scheduled like glass if you get that deep into the creation of this family. You know, you would be able to, but you would never need to schedule, you know, a Windows glass. I don't know. You maybe, why not? But you wouldn't do it in Revit, okay? Not an architect. You just wouldn't. It's just out of our purview. It'd be a waste of our time. There's other people better equipped to do that. Okay, so our window, right? I don't know if you guys are able to tell right now, but our glass is protruding past our frame. That is because our frame itself is being extruded from our center reference plane 2 inches away from that, whereas our glass is just being extruded equally from both sides. So let's get rid of that. Let's do that, and then let's extrusion start. Let's do, what is it, 1 inch? Yeah, okay. Extrusion end. 5/8 of an inch. There we go, more or less. All right, and then you can play around with this. You don't ever want to click this. Okay, so now we have that. Let's see if it stays together, right? With every step that you do, you want to make sure that your window stays how you want it to look. So let's make this a 6x3. All right, everything stayed together. Let's assign this a material real quick. We can assign this a material that will never be able to change if we do it this way, or excuse me, or we can create a different type of family parameter for material by using this little gray box. Okay, so here we do the new parameter. Same thing, it's part of the family parameter. We are going to do window, what do we want to call it? Window color, window frame color. No, material, what am I saying? All right, and then we can keep it at materials and finishes, do OK, hit OK. And then once we load it into the project, we'll be able to like change the material if we're not happy with it. Same with the window frame thickness and so forth. Whereas if we just assign the material right here, we would have to open the family, edit the material, load it back into the project, and so forth. So you want to do that this way. All right. So let's see what we got loaded by default. Default wall. Here we go. No, no. Let's just. What's going on? I just want to see something, and not get too complicated. Okay. Did nothing. Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay. You know what? You know what? Whatever. Okay, so this is better to see anyway. No. I'm just being lazy. Here we go. Create new material. Thank you so much. Window material graphics, whatever. Sure. Appearance. You can go into here, click this, and then you'll be presented with I was going to say Adobe's, but Autodesk's material library. All right, so we can go here. Let's just do some paint. No, wall, paint. There we go. Thank you. Wait, no, I don't want wall paint. I want plastic, vinyl. Oh yeah, this guy here. Okay. Click that. Do that. Hit apply. Okay. Alright, cool. Now that we can see it a little better. Sorry for the long delay. Okay. So that is a very long, boring window. Let's just add some stuff to it because we can't exist like that. And we can do that a few different ways, right? But the proper way would be to create a reference plane. Let's put that right here. All right, we can put this right here. And then just to see the other parameters that we have going on, right, we are going to put that there and there. Well, I just want to see the constraint. Thank you. Reveal constraints. Okay. Either way is fine. But what we are going to do, here we go. This is what I want to do. This we can set to equal. All right. Let's make sure that this dimension doesn't break. And by break, I mean no errors after we've flexed this. Flexing is just stretching and doing whatever you want with it just to test it. So nothing broke, right? Let's continue. Let's do this and this. Let's set that to equal. And then let's do the same thing here and here. Let's set this to equal. It really doesn't matter which side I'm starting my dimension from here, because these are being set to equal from, you know, two exterior points. So equal, equal. Let's stretch this out. Let's do 7. Equal, equal. Oh my goodness. Now we have 2 more, or well, we always had this guy, but we have 2 more reference points that we can add stuff to. So let's go back to create extrusion, and we can just pick from this line, and let's do an offset of 1 inch. Again, it doesn't really matter what we do the offset for, because we can set a parameter to it. Okay. I'm doing EA to use my shortcut for extend all, which is right here, or trim. By trim, it means like reduce the length to whatever reference point you want it to. Anyway, so here, right, we need to do this. We need to do the same thing. Equal, equal. Set those guys. Equal, equal. All right, set those guys. And then equal, equal. And then do that. Why are we going to do that? Because we need to give this guy now its own parameter. Or we can use the parameter for the window frame, but that will be all too thick, and we want to be able to play with the mullion thickness down the road. Alright, so let's select these guys. We can select only one if you want. Create your new parameter and then apply the parameter to these guys as well. But I just like to just do it in one shot. So let's create a new parameter, mullion thickness. All right. And then what I'm going to do, because we need to lock a line to the top and bottom of our window, right? Because if we're going to make it taller and shorter, it needs to stretch that way as well. The fastest way to do this is pick the, make sure that you're picking, see this says shape handle. I don't want a shape handle. I want the extrusion, not the glass either. I want this extrusion reference. Okay? Oh boy. But I do. That's what I want. That's the guy I want. So how can I do this right now without going backwards? Now I'm thinking I really should have just isolated the window frame, my reference plans, and then start drawing these new mullions. And I think that would have been the best. But let's just do it this way. Extrusion shape handle, extrusion shape handle. Let's see what happens this way. I don't know why I'm selecting the left one. Okay, now, you know what I didn't do? I'm so sorry, guys. Let's go back. I'm going to do pick line. I'm just going to do what it says there. I'm looking at the bottom left where it says extrusion shape handle. I'm clicking that. I'm going to hit lock right away. Do it at the bottom. Hit lock right away. Okay. If you hit lock right away on this one long line, now we can do SL for split. We can make sure this delete inner segment is on. And then you can start splitting this line at the top. Okay. And whatever remains, these 3 separate individual pieces here, these are all locked to the same element. Or they should. It doesn't look like it is right now because I don't see I see a lock there. Well, look, I've never had it not work, so I mean, we're gonna make sure I have to test it out. So let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay. All right. I'm nervous. I don't know. Okay, let's do FM. Finish that model, and then let's flex it. Let's do 6, and then let's do 5. And it looks good to me. I mean, in terms of like all of it staying together, not the location of the actual thing. So let's go to the reference plan here. Let's just make... Oh, also now, because we had that material parameter already created, we can select this extrusion and just go into that same gray box that we selected to create the parameter, and then just select the one that we made. Hit OK, and the same material will be applied automatically. So extrusion, boom, 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 let's do 0.75 inches. No, sorry. Extrusion 0. Okay, thank you. Extrusion start 0.75, 3/4 of an inch. Okay. And then let's do another 1 inch. Okay, you know, I never said I was a mathematician, so I'm just gonna drag that manually. All right. I don't really like that the glass is running through the whole thing. It will give you weird... You'll have problems down the road when you're creating floor plans and stuff that you want to avoid as much as possible. So let's just delete... We don't have to delete it, but what we can do is go back to this view. Select the glass by tabbing through the elements. And then, let's see here. Edit the extrusion. Okay, this side's locked. You can unlock that. Stretch this. AL to align. Align to that. Okay, I'm going to hit FM to finish. I'm going to select that glass pane. I'm going to copy it to this side here. I'm going to edit the extrusion. Alright, you see nothing is locked anymore to any other elements, so let's do the same thing. Shape handle. Alright, shape handle. Shape handle. Shape handle. Okay. Did I not lock this one? Okay, there we go. Alright. Copy. And you know what? I'm just going to delete the whole thing because this is way easier. There we go. Because if you just draw it from scratch, it will just give you the option to lock it all at once. Alright. The thing is, though, now that I'm looking at it, I really hate these. I really hate the look of this window. What am I doing here? I really do hate the look of this window. I'll tell you why. Because it's starting to look like a prison bar window. So let's go back into our frame drawing here, our mullion drawing, I'm sorry. Delete that center one. Go into here, delete one of these window panes. Edit this extrusion. Align this one to this one, lock it. Make sure these guys are still locked. FM, alright. Now, it sounded like Kill Bill for some reason, in my head at least. Okay, let's create a horizontal one. Okay. So we got this going on, and then we can do the same thing. We can even take this guy and then edit this extrusion and do this offset. Equal. Never forget. Set it. Don't forget it. Alright, set the overall dimension and then give it that same parameter for the mullions, and then it will make sure that it's part of the mullions. Okay, because the equal is set to this reference plane, whenever this reference plane moves, this mullion will move up and down with it. The same logic as these mullions follow, just horizontal. Okay. Just because our dimensions are this way, well, you know what? I don't know. Just move them there so we can see better. Pick line. Undo. Pick line. Lock. Pick line. Lock. Trim. Okay, that's locked. That's locked. Now, what do we do about these guys? Let's push this down real quick. Well, simple. We'll just do SL to split. Okay. Because everything is locked and all the parameters are already in place, I can now just break this thing apart as I'm doing, and everything should remain intact. Okay. If not, well, then maybe the best idea is just to draw this horizontal mullion separately and not as I'm doing. But we should be good if we did everything right. Okay. Now, let's stretch this bad boy. Let's do 7. And let's change the height to 4. Nice. Okay. Let's keep stretching some of this stuff. Let's do 5 inches for the window frame. Good. And we see that, okay, right, this broke. This isn't moving with that. So let's just select this and this. Well, let's just go into our elevation view instead and do it this way. So let's select our mullions and then select our frame. Oh god, I thought. Okay. See, even this window pane. Okay, and then let's do HI. Now that we have just these guys, we can click this. Let's do AL. Align that to that. Hit OK. Align this to this. Remove those constraints, but create that constraint. All right, because we will get that warning because we did lock it to something. We're not nuts, you know. We're not nuts. Shout out to animals, HBO. Okay. Hit FM. Let's just test this out before we do anything else. Height. Let's change it back to 5. Beautiful. Right? Yes. This guy didn't move because we didn't give it any sort of properties yet. We didn't tell it what to do, or you know, whether it should be equal. We just told it you're going to be 1 foot, 1'6" above from wherever we started. All right. So let's change our frame thickness back to 3. Let's do 3.5 inches. Make sure this goes back with it, and everything looks good. All right. Let's do HR to see everything again. Now I want. Let's see. Let's check out the window panes. They moved along with everything. This guy did not, though. All right. So let's make sure that it does. Lock it. Hit finish. And then we need to test it. The best family designers or makers or whatever are the people who just continuously test every single move that they make, because if you go down, you know, imagine we went down a whole road of creating all this, we make different options, you name it, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh wait, we didn't test it, and then you make it like 6 feet wide, 5 feet tall, and then all of it breaks. It says it doesn't compute, elements deleted, and you don't know how far back you need to go to fix that, right? So it makes no sense. Let's delete this dimension here and start it again. We want our horizontal mullion height to start from the bottom here, which I think it already was, but let's say we want this to be flexible down the road once we enter it into a project. We can do the same thing, right? Horizontal Again, I don't know why you would want this as an option. It's better just to have your different family types so you can model faster and not be concerned with like adjusting these little, I don't know. It depends. Depends. It all depends. I don't know. It's horizontal mullion. Okay. Boom. Height from sill. That's so long. Height. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. All right. So if we change the vertical mullion height, let's say to 2, or let's say 3. There we go. All right. And glass went with it. Nothing's wrong. Everything's nice and dandy. Okay. So there you have it. I mean, that's a window. What more do you need? What more do you need? That is the logic that you use for creating literally any family in Revit. It's that easy. I hope this helped. Let's just go through the steps one more time, right? You go in here, you're presented with your floor plan. Generally, you don't really start right here when you're making a window because you need to see it. So you go into your exterior view. You draw, you go to create, extrude. You begin with your exterior frame of the window. Maybe you have some window spec already. You have a window in mind. You can go look up their drawings. Instead of doing an extrusion, you can even do a sweep, right? So that you can draw the profile of the actual window frame, so that when you draw a section of this family later down the road, you don't need to continuously like draw that window frame. You don't need to continuously bring in detail components to show that window frame. You know, to whatever level you need. So anyway, we create that. We stretch it. We make sure that it all works. While we're in this, we created also another sub-parameter. It's not really a sub-parameter. It's a parameter within like the sketch, and that's all I mean by it. We created the parameter inside the sketch to assign it, you know, a parameter for the thickness of the frame. We did the same things for the mullions, and for the mullions we started by drawing our equals from our left to right to our default center, and then whatever other mullions we wanted to draw in. So we could have done that like 6 times in here. Okay, remember to lock your stuff in the right places. Remember to always make sure that you're looking down here in the bottom left. A lot of information down there, a lot of stuff down there. When you're like dimensioning, okay. Anyway, have fun, kids. Okay, and let's test it out and put it inside of something. Okay. All right. So once you're done, you can save it. Obviously, save. I'm not going to save this, but you can save. Make sure you go in here and set this to 1. Okay, you can't set this to 0, unfortunately, but just set it to 1. Everything that you make in here, it just like saves a backup file of it just in case, because Revit is thorough, and you know, people, I don't know, it's just the right thing to do when you're working on millions and billions and millions of dollars of worth of, you know, walls and stuff. Anyway, I'll shut up. Set this to 1 so your folders don't look super cluttered. You don't need it. Okay. Anyway, so once you save, you can load into project and close. Okay. I'm gonna hit no. All right. Now I'm able to place this right away. Okay. So there we have our whole window that we drew. Now let's play around with it in here. This is what I was talking about in here. Well, I would have to create a whole other thing. Okay, so anyway, now we can go here, change the properties. Let's do 5 feet. Do we have a sill height? I thought that was, yeah, okay, we should move that up. I don't know why it's all the way down here. Okay, width 7, horizontal mullion height, 1'6". Mullion thick. Okay. Nice. Ooh. What? Why is that? Mullion thickness. Oh. Why? Oh, because if it was just 1 inch. Yeah, what's the problem? That's weird. What's the problem? What's the problem, pal? Anyway, so we just can't make this less than 2 inches. Is that what I'm hearing? 1.5. No, you broke. All right, can't do less than 2 inches. I guess because I did something with it, or maybe because these windows. Anyway, but look,